What's good, y'all? This is Jose, and today's video we're going to review the Dehancer Pro. Want to take your color grading in Final Cut Pro to the next level? Today, I'll show you how to use the Dehancer, a powerful plugin that adds rich, film-like textures and colors to your videos. If you're ready to give your footage that cinematic look, stick around and let's dive in. Alright guys, before we dive in, I just want to tell you guys that the Dehancer reached out to me to make a review about this plugin, and with my honest opinion, without them telling me what to put in or anything on the video. So this will be my honest opinion of the Dehancer. Stick around to the end if I could give you a promo code for 10% off the Dehancer Pro. So I have here two footages. The first one right here is from my Canon R7 C-Log 3. The second footage here I got is from my Osmo Pocket 3. First, what we do is add two adjustment layers on top. That's how I like to do it. After that, look for the Dehancer Pro here on the bottom right under film emulations. Drag it to the adjustment layer on top. Okay. So now, default, it would enable some of these. I like to enable if I could start from scratch. There you go. So now I'll go all the way up top. First step is to choose your camera that you recorded your footage with. So choose camera here. Select Canon. Select your camera, which is the R7. And select which C-Log you shot it with, which I shot it with the Gamma Cinema. So that was the first step. Converting the log footage into Rec 709. The second step I like to do is to pick the film of your choice that you like. So let's enable this. And I will choose a film. So I'm gonna fast forward this part, but these are all the films that it has. And you can go through all of them and choose whichever one you like. I have chosen the Kodak Portra 800. That's the one I like out of all of them. So enable that. Here you could push the film. Push it to the right. No, wait. Now I'm actually leave it in the middle, so we'll reset that. After I choose the film, I like to work on my shadows and highlights. So expand is a good one. So let's enable that. Black point deals with all the black on your video. So if you push it to the right, it gets darker. If you push it to the left, it gets lighter. So let's put it darker. That looks good right there. I'm also going by the Luma graph right here. So if you pass 0, that means you're clipping on your blacks. If you pass 100 here on top, that means you're clipping on your highlights. So I don't like to go below 0, so that's good right there. Now the white point, let's see how it looks. If I bring it up, it's kind of bright. If I bring it down, it's too dark, so I'm gonna leave it how it was. I think that was okay. So next, what I like to do is pick a profile. Go to print and pick a profile. First, let's enable it. Pick this one, see how that looks. Okay. Fuji film. That looks kind of dope. Kodak print. Looks dope. And I kind of like this glossy paper finish, so I'll pick that one. And here you could adjust more of the exposure. Let me bring that down a little bit. I don't really like pushing it too much because it overkill, so a little bit is just fine. Let's see. This is the tonal contrast, so push it a little bit towards the left. Color density, really mess with nothing, so I'm gonna leave it. I'll reset it, and this is saturation if you want to keep it black and white or add color to it. Next up is the color head. So show, enable. On the bottom, you gotta enable each before you use it. So here on the color head, if you move towards the left, it will turn yellowish. If you move to the right, it will be a blue tone. So again, don't overdo it because it looks, well, if you like it, that's cool, but I don't like it. I just touch a little bit towards whichever way I like it. So I feel like I'm gonna push this towards the yellow a little bit. So give like the sun a pop. Like you can see the sunlight once you push it to the yellow. So that's cool. Now magenta and green. Let's see. Let's push it to magenta. That looks good. I don't really like green, so I'm gonna stick to magenta a little bit. That's that. You want to click, if you want to see before and after, go on the bottom to enable and then click it, and you see how it was before and after. Now the bottom is, can't really say that, cyan, whatever, and red. So I think I'm gonna push it towards red. Let's see. Let me see, cyan. Yeah, I'm gonna push it a little bit towards red, just 2 or 3%. There you go. Now here in the bottom, you could adjust the shadow tones, the mid-tones, and the highlight tones. So let's start with the shadow. If I push it towards the left, it gives me like a little blue tint. So I'm gonna actually push it towards the blue tint for the shadows. The mid-tones, let's see what this does. Same thing, I'm gonna push the mid-tones towards the orange on the right. And highlight as well, I'm gonna push towards the right. There you go. So now let's disable to see the before and after. So far it's looking good. All right, so next, film grain. It's like the grain on the film, like old time. So let's click that. The lower the number, the more grain it will have. The higher the number, the less grain it will have. But that's how that works. Usually for film grain, I like to do it last. So because it messes up how I'm color grading. So take that out, and let's deal with that last. Next, halation. So halation is, let me click it so you can see. So click that, and you see the bright spots, how it has that red tint to it and around the edges. Let me put it to 8mm, which is the most. There, all right. You can see how this guy's red sweater. You can see the white cars right here. Let me enable it and disable it. You can see around the rim, the red outline. That's what that halation is. So I like to keep that in the middle, 35, not too much. So let's push it there. Let's go before and after. Excuse me. That looks good. And mask mode, you could see more in detail what is affecting the halation. So let's say if we put it back to 8, you see more of the halation everywhere on the outline. If you put it back to 65, you can see only a little bit. So I like to keep it in the middle, 35. Yeah. So now you could take the mask off and then go back and forth, and you see that. Next, another favorite is bloom. Let's enable that. The bloom gives the whole picture like a little gloomy bloom, as you can see. So let's enable that. The lower the number again, the more bloom it is. The higher the number, the less it is. So let's see how that looks. I'm actually leave it on 65mm. Yeah, I'll leave it there. All right, so next, film damage. So let's click that here. Film damage is, like the name says it is, film damage. So let me put it on 8 so you can see it more. But as I go through the picture, you can see the scratches and the film damage, like the old school films. Me personally, I don't really like that, so I enable it. Okay, so I skip all of these because I really don't know what they do. And when I tried to play with it, I just didn't need it. I feel like it. So I always skip to vignette, click enable, and it gives it like a vignette. You could adjust the vignette how you want, darker or brighter. But I usually leave it to default. So there you go. And then once you're done, the cool thing about the this plugin is you could generate a LUT. So you could export, save the LUT, and use it everywhere else. So let's say if you have a shoot and you have a camera and the monitor could hold LUTs, you could put that LUT there and you could see just how your video will look on the spot. So I think that's a really cool thing that they added here. So now for the last step, let's add the film grain. Here it is. Let's enable that. And I always keep it on the lowest setting because I don't want it to have too much grain, but that really gives it an old school feel, as you can see. And that's looking nice. Alright, so that's done. So here's the log footage, how it looks. The before and then after. Giving it a vintage filmish look. Okay, so now let's move on to the DJI clip. Dehancer also has a mobile app that you could download on iOS and in Google Play. So you could edit videos and photos on the go. It has the same film emulators. Everything you could do on the desktop version, you can't do on the mobile version. So it's a pretty good to go program. I can see it mostly used for pictures. That's what I'll be using it for. But you can also get this app on your store. Let's see. Let's pause it. Let's see. I'll pause it here. There you go. So then again, you go to your adjustment layer. You look for the Dehancer Pro plugin and put it right on top of the adjustment layer. I am going to enable all of this. If I can start from scratch again, like the other video. First step is to convert your video to Rec 709. So you choose your camera. This is the DJI. And then you choose the Pocket, whatever you use. But in my case is the Pocket 3. There you go. So now it's time to choose the film. Let's see how this Kodak Vision 3 250 looks. Let me go back and forth. I'm gonna actually pick this one. I kind of like this one. All right. So we stay with that one. Then again, you can push and pull it. One more towards the right. There you go. After film, I like to go through my highlights and shadows. So enable black point. Expand. Then for black point, let's push it. Let's see. Let me see if I leave it how it was. I'm gonna leave the black point how it was. I don't bring down the white point. Make it a little darker. Let's see. Not that much, just there. There's a difference. No. There you go. It's a little difference, but it just makes it darker. So next, I like to go is print, pick a profile, enable it first. See how this looks. Fuji, Kodak print, and glossy. Man, it's really up to these two that I like, glossy and Kodak print. I'm gonna pick the glossy paper again for this one. So now here we could adjust the exposure. Let's see. I'm gonna reset this. So tonal contrast. Let's see if I push it towards the right. I am going to push it a little bit towards the right, like that. So before and after. Color density. Let's see what that does. If you look at the car, it gives it a little gives it a little darker color if I push it to the right. So we'll leave it there. Saturation, if you want it black and white, push all the way down. If no, all the way to the top. So after we finish with that, go to color head. Right now our film is looking more towards the greenish side of it. So let's see if we can push it. I'm gonna enable this first. I'm gonna push it towards yellow to see how it looks, and then towards blue, see how it looks. I think I'm gonna push it towards the blue a little bit. Let's see. There you go. Before and after. I like that. So now let's go to magenta and green. Let's see magenta. No. Green. I'm gonna push it towards magenta, but just 1%. -1 right there. There you go. Now let's see. Third one. Let me see how it looks towards the red. I actually push it towards the left. -3. I like that. Next, shadow tone. We'll leave it how it is. Reset. Midtones. We'll push it more towards the right. Highlights, I'm gonna also push it more towards the right. Yeah, I'm pushing towards the right. And this is before the color head, which is had a green tone, and this is after. So now after that, film grain, I'm gonna use it for last. Ulation. All right, so let's enable that. You could tell around the car, especially the ulation. So pay attention to the car when I click it, when I enable it and disable it. Gives it a little red outline-ish to it. So let's push it to the most to see how that looks. That's too much. Now let's put 65mm. And I feel like you can't hardly see anything, so I'm gonna keep it in the middle on 35, super 35. So let's enable and disable again. There you go. So now bloom. Let's go to the bloom. Let's enable that. You see how it gives everything like a glow, the whole picture. Let's put it on 8mm, see how that looks. That's too much. Put 65. Let's see. I'm kind of feeling 65, so I'll leave it there. Film damage. I don't really like using this, but just for the purpose to show you guys again what it does. Gives it a little film damage on it. Go back and forth. You see the film damage. But I'm going to take that out. So I skip all the way to vignette. Enable. There you go. Once again, you could adjust it if you want it brighter or darker, but I'm gonna reset it, keep it how it was. There you go. So, okay, and then again, if you want to export the LUT and use it somewhere else, you export it and all that. So the last step, what I like to do is the film grain. Where is it? Right here. You see the difference in the grain right there, on and off. That's kind of a lot, so I keep it on 65-500. Yeah, I like that. gives it a little old school grain. So there you go. Let's see how it looked before with the log, and now with the Dehancer Pro on it. There you go. Let me go through it. Gives it that old school look. I like that. I like how that turned. Alright, so what do I think about the Dehancer Pro? I could see myself using this app to color grade most of my footage if I want a vintage or a film-like footage. I will definitely be using this app. The fact that it has everything built in, such as Hulation, bloom, film emulators, you could adjust the exposure. You don't have to go out of the program. You could just use the Dehancer Pro and you could do anything there with it on your film. So that's one thing I really like. Another great feature this has is you could export the LUT that you just finished color grading and you could use it anywhere else, such as another video, or bring it to your camera for you could record while seeing the LUT. That's pretty cool, I think. So like I said, I could see myself using this program to color grade my footage and all that, but there's only one con. Only one. That's the only one, but it's the price. For $490, what is it, $450? I think it's a little too high, but with my promo code, you could save 10%. So if you want to check it out, take on my promo code and you save yourself 10%. Other than that, I love the app. I will be using it to color grade most of my footage. If you have any questions about the Dehancer Pro, just leave it down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. And thank you for watching, guys. And don't forget to use my promo code if you want the Dehancer Pro. Catch you on the next one, guys. Later.